Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In our last video we were looking at Lamborghini. This week we're looking at the competition, Ferrari. The thing is with Ferrari is, love them or hate them, the amount of anniversary cars and special edition cars that they have built has been absolutely mind-boggling. And when it comes to building cars and also racing heritage, it's just ridiculous. Like most Ferrari fans, my love for Ferrari came to me as a child, and that was back in the 80s, and that's when we've seen things like the 308, the Testarossa, and let's not forget the iconic F40. And then things progressed into the 90s, then we started to see things like 348, 456 GT, seen the F50, and in my opinion the last true pretty Ferrari that we've seen for a while, the 355. Then something called health and safety came in and put an end to the iconic lights that as a kid defined a Ferrari. And then as we entered the 2000s we started to see things like the 360, which for me was definitely not the most beautiful Ferrari. I think at that point we had entered an era of aero being so important to the overall design of the car. We ended up seeing these huge ugly diffusers on the back of the car and some pretty naff looking front splitters. The 360 and the 430 for me were a little bit too fussy in design. I think they were a little bit more biased towards function than they were the beauty. However, I do think that the 430 was an improvement over the 360. Moving on to the 458 then, Ferrari have managed to keep all the functional parts of the car still functional, things like the rear diffuser and the front splitter. But the overall design of the car is actually pretty simplistic, but it's one of the most beautiful Ferraris that we've seen for a long time. So let's look at the back of the 458 Italia. Now you can see the rear splitter. It's actually quite insignificant to the rest of the car, whereas if you look at one on a 360 or the F430, it literally takes up the whole back of the car. And then moving on to the front of the cars, if you look again at the 458 Italia, you'll see that the front splitter, etc., and air intakes, it just kind of flows with the car. It looks more natural, whereas on the 360 and F430, it's basically just these big holes at the side of the car, and to me they just look horrible. Moving on to the side of the car as well, if you're looking at the 458 from the side, I mean the design to me just kind of flows. There's not these big air scoops or lines or anything horrific on the side, and Ferrari's managed to sort of blend all the aero and all the air scoops just into the flow of the car. So for me, it's a massive improvement over what they've done over the past 10 years. And then moving on to the 488 GTB, which has been the replacement for the 458 Italia, Ferrari's not really messed around with the design. It's essentially, let's say, a facelift of the 458 Italia, which is a good thing because Ferrari knew at that point they were on to a good thing with the design. The functional parts were still functional and the beauty of the car was still there. So well done Ferrari. And being lucky enough to have driven the 360, 430, 458 Italia and also the 488 GTB, I can honestly say that not only has the design etc. improved from Ferrari, but they've also managed to improve the driving experience. Jumping from our black F430 first time into a 458 Italia was just incredible, and I could not believe how much they had improved that car. It was just absolutely insane. So the first time that I drove the 458 Italia, for me it was a proper adrenaline rush. The noise, the first thing that got me, the howl from the V8 was just incredible. The ferocity that the engine could spin up, how fast it could spin up and spin back down, was just on another level. And also the noise that you got going through the down change on the auto blipper was just, it was ridiculous. And I had to kind of look around the car and think, am I driving a 458 Italia here or am I driving an Enzo? Because it was so ridiculous. You see, Ferrari was aware of the pressure then coming at them from the likes of Porsche, Nissan with the GTR, McLaren starting to build cars again, and then the Audi takeover over at Lamborghini. So this was Ferrari's way of saying, come ahead if you think you're hard enough. So with my brief encounter that I've personally had with the 488 GTB, I could not believe how Ferrari have managed to improve so much on a car like this that is already a masterpiece. So I would just like to say thanks to Ferrari for building such fantastic cars. This to me has been a dream come true, and it ticks every single box that a supercar should do. Myself, I'm really excited now to get a longer drive in a Ferrari 488 GTB, so please give us a little like on the video, comment on the video, and we're going to send this video direct to Ferrari UK, and we're going to ask them for a 488 GTB to do an in-depth review.